sponsor tags.
Oh, so pull that off. All right, let's come to order. And can I have a volunteer to read the invocation? Luke, let's do it.
May we, the student senate, have the wisdom, patience, and guidance to be responsible representatives. May we be fair in judgments, enlightened interactions, and ethical interactions. Can I get a go Broncos?
Go Broncos! Hey, Jack, can I get a roll call?
Christina. Cole.
Here.
Theo.
Here.
Ariel. Present. Meg. Here. Abby. Justin.
Present.
Carmen. Present. Raul.
Present.
Luke.
Here.
Kyle.
Yep.
Amber. Here. Zachary. Juliana. Here. Cam.
Here.
Eric. Is coming. Vidya.
Here.
Allie.
Present.
Emmy.
Here.
Ifani.
Here.
Duncan. Mika.
Here.
Christian.
Here.
Melanie. Present.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Oh, Zach's here.
Zach is here.
Actually, sorry. Now too.
Can I get a motion to approve the previous minutes?
Motion to approve
Second.
the previous minutes.
Motion from Vidya, second from Ifani. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, before we approve the agenda, I'd like to point out to you that I changed a couple things. I had forgotten that we had voted on the ESO, so I took that off. Additionally, I have interviewed and found someone interested in Center at Large for LGBTQ plus inclusion. So we will talk to her tonight later. So I added that. Also, some people have announcements. I can add that, but they should be quick. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the
Second.
agenda.
Motion from Mika, second from Cam. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, let's get right into it. So first order of business, we have a guest speaker tonight, Michael Crowley, the VP of Finance and Administration. He has a presentation for us. Let's give him a round of applause.
Okay, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Looks like a pretty strong turnout for a Thursday before a holiday week. I know there were a number of students heading out today as I was wandering around campus with their roller bags, so I appreciate you guys being here. When I was asked to speak, they kind of gave me a rough idea of what you might be interested in. First, I'll give you a little bit about my background, where I've come from, and then I was asked to talk a little bit about the organization, and then I'll open it up to whatever questions you have about whether the university, myself, or anything I can try to answer. So I've been at the university almost 2 years now. I don't have the traditional academic background. I went undergrad accounting, and I was going the public accounting route. I spent 3 years at Pricewaterhouse here in San Jose. Got my CPA license, and then decided to go into industry. I went to work for a family business. We were in the paint and coatings business. We were in 3 lines of work: architectural, which you know, walls, house paint. We were in the automotive refinish and also in the powder coatings business. I spent a lot of time in the finance area, the powder coating business. We sold a lot overseas, so I was doing foreign currency hedges, those types of things on the finance side. I'm the oldest of the next generation, so I was being groomed to run the business eventually. So about 3 years into my tenure there, I left and went back to MBA school to kind of fill out my background. My background was primarily finance and accounting. I thought that I needed some more experience in marketing and also operations, as we were a manufacturing company. So I left for 18 months and went and got my MBA at Duke University, graduated from there, and then came back to the business. Spent 3 years on the sales and marketing side, running the company store network here in the West for about 3 years. Make a long story short, we ended up breaking the business into 3 parts and selling it off. As part of the sale, I had to stay on with one of the divisions. I stayed on with the architectural group. Was doing fine. In my meeting, was told I was going to be promoted to VP, but I had to relocate, and that was a non-starter for me. I'm not a Santa Clara grad. I went to Notre Dame undergrad, but my wife is a Santa Clara grad, and we have deep roots here in the Valley. I went to St. Francis High School, and my parents live here, her parents, etc. So I wasn't interested in moving, and that's when I started looking for other opportunities. and one came along. The Oakland Athletics were looking for a CFO. I applied and got the job. So that's how I kind of transitioned from manufacturing into athletics. I was at the A's for 15 months. My boss left, who was the president at the time, left to go to Major League Baseball. And I was either at the right place at the right time or some days the wrong place at the wrong time, and I was promoted to president and was president there for 18 years. And then thought I had retired, and then this opportunity presented itself. And I had a long relationship with the university. In addition to my wife going here, I also relaunched and ran the San Jose Earthquakes for a number of years. And we played here on campus for 7 years and did a lot of the renovations you see over here at Buckshore Stevens Stadium. So I had a relationship with Father Locatelli at that time, and that continued with Father Ing and John Onaboni and Bob Warren and a number of other people. So I had a background in happy to be here at Santa Clara. It's a great institution. I really believe in the mission, as all of you that attend the university do. I want to just show you, I'll show you a little bit about the organization that I oversee. It's the VP of Finance and Administration. I have obviously responsibility for finance, which is accounting, the controller's office. Then also auxiliary services under Robin Reynolds, auxiliary services, operations, the investment office, risk management, and then human resources for the university. Go to the next one. So finance, that's the controller's office, that's the bursar, that's the academic term for accounts receivable, and then the university budget office. Next. Auxiliary services, that's primarily student housing, that's dining, that's access, that's the bookstore. That all falls under Robin Reynolds and rolls up into my organization. Next. University operations. So that's everything you see on campus. That's campus safety. One thing I want to say there, we do have a lot of construction going on campus, and I want to make sure everybody's diligent. Please stay out of construction sites. It can be extremely dangerous. We also have all the facilities, the grounds, planning of projects, utilities. One of the advantages we have here at the university is we're not on PG&E. So when you start talking about PG&E got enough power that doesn't affect us. So we're with Silicon Valley Power, which has been a great thing for us. We have business services and then cultural management, which is really archaeology for the campus. And with all the building we've done on campus, that office has done a yeoman's work in making sure that we preserve what's there. We also, under Chris Shea, is also the environmental health and safety, anything involved with campus safety, lab safety, all that stuff kind of rolls up under operations. So all the things that are in place to make sure that you're safe as you're doing work on campus. Next. And then I also have the endowment. So the Chief Investment Officer, John Kerrigan, reports in, as well as his group, and they oversee the endowment of the university, which as of 6/30 was about $1 billion. Risk management, that's Sam Florio. He handles primarily insurance in this area for the university, but also he gets involved with making sure that all parties, when we throw an event on campus, that all the stuff's coordinated between campus safety, etc. Very small department, but very important. And then Charlie Ambling oversees human resources, as well as Kids on Campus, which is our on-campus daycare for faculty and staff. Next. Just want to talk, before I open it up for questions, just talk about the university, because there's some interest. I've met with a number of students about, the revenues and expenses related to the university. As you can see in the pie chart there, undergraduate and graduate tuition, we're very dependent on tuition here. We're not a research institution. We don't have a medical center, so we're primarily a teaching institution. We do have scholarship and research, but primarily the revenues generated from tuition, undergraduate and graduate. You can see the endowment there of about $7.7 million. For point of reference, that pie there is about $500 million. So the endowment kicks off a spend about 4 to 4.5%, or $40 million. On the expense side, as you might imagine, our biggest expense is compensation. Those are the professors and faculty and staff.
I'd say 50% of that.
That supports the university and makes it what it is. So that's just kind of for your edification. I'm happy to answer any questions on anything you're interested in. Yeah.
Could you briefly explain the difference between capital spending and operating expenses?
Yeah, so operating expenses would be departmental expenses. It would cover utilities, those types of things. Capital spending would be on, we have a renewal policy here where you'll see constant, like, you may not all be in dorms, but there's a program where we work on dorms on an ongoing basis. We also have so it's anything that extends the useful life or needs to be fixed will be in that category. So pipe breaks in the library. Yeah. Raul?
If Bridget Colbert works closely with San Florio, why doesn't she fall under risk management and falls under human resources?
So she has a dotted line to that. So she sits under the general counsel primarily, but has a dotted line to risk management and to general counsel and risk management. She also does help out because we have a position open in human resources. Our labor attorney left to go to another university, so she's been helping out there. But I mean, she kind of oversees a lot of the legal and has her fingers in her and her staff in a lot of the different, contracts and those types of things throughout campus.
So, are you involved in the building of the athletic center?
I am.
And, I wanted to know, like, why doesn't the school have like a track and any other big projects that will be happening?
So the Athletic Excellence Center was on the books and an idea when I came to the university. It was just a matter of could we secure the funding. Father Ing says we're not breaking ground until we have almost 100% of the funding, and we had raised a sufficient amount in his mind to endow the operating expenses of that building. So we're pretty close on the operating. We're a little bit short on the building. We'll have it by that time. So that design was twofold. One, it was to provide two additional gyms for basketball, volleyball, all of the weight equipment, all the training equipment, plus the rehab and the medical in that building. Plus, there's going to be an academic center. And the other piece that Father said is that building needs to serve dual purposes, right? So one of those gyms will be available, because my understanding is we're short on gym space here on campus. That'll be available to the campus community at certain times during the week. But I don't think there's anything on the at least that I'm aware of on the around track.
In real numbers, how do the sizes of these pies compare? Is revenue generally less than our costs, or
So
like are they the
compared
same?
to our peers,
Sorry,
compared to our peers.
no. Compare to one another. These two pies, are they generally the same size, or
Oh yeah, they're about the same size. We operate on a very razor thin.
yeah?
Right, because you want to reinvest, but you don't want, you're dependent on tuition, so you're trying to keep tuition, combination of tuition and financial aid at a reasonable level.
Yeah.
Biggest thing is so I think last year we had an operating surplus of about 2.2 million on $500 million, which is extremely thin.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're virtually the same size.
Can I ask what the unlabeled pie chart is supposed to be?
That's a good question. It should have showed up. Let me see if I have it on my.
What was the question?
What's the light blue?
Yeah, for some reason it didn't show on the chart. So, let's see, going from right to left, so you got capital spending, debt service is the next blue one,
Yes, with
bonds.
You mean are bonds the one on the left or that tiny sliver to the right?
What's the tiny sliver to the right?
Yeah.
Sorry to get so deep into
Tiny sliver to the right.
In
To the right of
between
capital.
orange and dark blue.
Oh, that's our contingency.
Ah.
Razor thin.
Rainy day fund? Or, oh, okay, I see.
It's like a
Surplus.
drizzle
Okay.
fan.
And what we do is we roll that into reserves. You can call it a rainy day fund. Reserves are the same thing. Yeah. Good eyes if you can see that. Yeah. And then on the other ones that are up there, I should have showed up. Other income, which is anything that doesn't fall into the buckets of tuition auxiliaries, endowment income, graduate tuition. And then the orange slice is, auxiliaries is the blue one there. And then the orange one is gifts. So that's philanthropy. And throughout the university, various schools and the development office will raise gifts that are expendable in a given year. Most of the gifts that we receive have some restrictions to them. They may be restricted to, a particular school, a particular major, financial aid. It may be an endowed chair, etc.
So I know the university would like to build staff and faculty
Yes.
housing. With the funding from that, has that already been secured, or like what's the status on
No.
that?
The charter on that is that has to stand on its own, right? It has to have no impact on the operating budget of the university. So what that means is that the cost of that project, the debt service of that project, the reserves for maintenance and other things has to come through the rent structure, right? At the present time, we're trying to re-entitle that piece of property across the street. We're still in the process. We're hoping to go, we're in the middle of CEQA, which is the environmental. We're in the public comment phase. That should end sometime next week. And we're hoping to get on the planning commission. We're working through design right now. And once you get through design, then we'll get costing, and then typically you start value engineering to make the thing pencil. But we won't go forward unless we've secured financing, and we're confident that we can rent it to a certain level at a certain rent rate, so there's no impact on the operating budget. I'd like to keep it off on its own. We'll see if, maybe set up an LLC on its own, but it won't have any impact on any of this.
Thank you.
I was gonna ask, like, in addition to like the athletic center, in addition to like housing, and also that I don't know what that building is called, but it's across the community they're building it. Like, what's like the new what's like next after that in terms of like new buildings?
I hope we're done for a while. I hope we're done for a while. This is unprecedented. Even before I came, starting with Dowd and some of these others, it's been probably there's no doubt it's been the largest expansion on this campus in a long, long time. And I'm hoping that with the completion of the Sobrato and the athletic excellence center, we just finished Finn, and there's been a number of other buildings that we both. I'm hoping we're done for a while.
Mr. Crowley, thank you so much for
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. And thank you for getting into so much detail with us about that. We don't get to see that kind of thing very often.
No problem.
Really
Enjoy your
appreciate it.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Okay, let's move right into Standing Rules Ad Hoc Committee. We talked about this at length last Senate, so let me first do a straw poll. Who's ready to vote on the Standing Rules Ad Hoc Committee right now? Raise your hand. Higher so I can just see. Okay, cool. Zach, are you good with that?
Sure.
Okay.
If nobody has any more questions,
Okay.
Great.
Any additional questions? We can just do this for a couple minutes. Yeah, video.
So what is like the first specific thing that you plan to do?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
I have a whole list.
Alright.
I really do. I have a whole plan.
Just first is fine.
I mean, literally the first thing that we would do as a committee is run through what Robert's Rules is, what parliamentary procedure is broadly, and narrow that down into what can be applicable to our Senate. From there, we would create a poll, a survey, essentially, that would be sent to all the senators, which would ask questions like, how formal do you want debates to be? Would you consider creating a rule for structured and unstructured debate? Would you like to preserve any traditions of the Senate within rules, and what might those be? You know, asking questions that could be a little bit more informative to what standing rules could look like for the Senate.
Perfect. So we're gonna try for a voice vote on this. You should all be familiar on what that is and how it works. We've done it before. So first off, I'd like to nominate as chair for this ad hoc committee. Is this not the right order? Should we establish it first and then I should nominate as chair?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Let's vote first.
Because it hasn't been passed yet. You know?
Okay, well, let's vote first then.
Haven't resolved the first.
All in favor of establishing the ad hoc committee on standing rules and orders, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes. And as chair, I'd like to as Senate chair, I'd like to nominate as chair for this ad hoc committee Zachary Mead. I understand that there are 4 others or 5 others who are interested. What are those names?
Yes, the senators who reached out to me who are interested and whom I'd recommend to sit on this committee would be Abby, Ariel. Who are the others, please? Oh, Ali, of course, and you, David.
Cool. Awesome. So those people, are you still interested? That want to do it?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I'm pretty sure just in Senate we only need to establish a chair and then everything else can happen offline.
Yeah, I mean, announcing the other members would be appropriate.
I'm glad the names are now out there. But yeah, we will get going on this. Let's go on to the next item on the agenda. Thanks for being quick about that, everybody. SAC recommendations.
Cool.
Kyle, is this the right set of slides?
Yep.
Cool.
So the first one is women in physics. They requested $1,475 for travel. We're recommending $590 for a 40%. Next one. Okay. Ballet Folklorico. Supplies and other. $34.27.75 is what they asked. We recommend giving $24.90 or 72%. Next one. Chinese Student Association. Advertising $160. 60 recommended. Food $3,429. Recommend giving $1,500. Entertainment $1,408. Recommend giving $100. Supplies and other. That's not supposed to say $18,000. I think it's $18.18. And then $569. So total $6,815 is what's requested. We recommend giving $3,129 or 45%. Own It. They asked $200 for travel. We recommend giving $0. That was mainly because it was housing for one of their guests, and that's something that SAC just doesn't fund. In general, we don't fund. Advertising, $100. Recommend giving $25. Food, $19.77. They asked. Recommend $1,000. Apparel, $79.95. $50 provided. Entertainment, $5,000 is requested. $3,000 is recommended. We got that number based off what we gave last year to TPSA when they had a speaker, same percentage. Supplies and others, $675, 64 cents. Recommend giving $200. So overall, percent fund of 53%. And that's it.
Cool. Okay. Sorry for that tease there, but I don't believe we have a Senator of the Week this week. Yeah, Allie, what's up?
I just had a question.
Yes.
So, I was wondering if we can talk about the bilingual.
Yeah. So the reason why is because SAC, we need to conserve money for the rest of the academic year as we do have cultural shows coming up and we've had a high volume of requests. That means we have to be more diligent on clubs. So for them specifically, they're asking for 3 different outfits to wear. So we recommend just providing funding for 2 of them this year and then they can ask next year for that other 3rd.
Yep.
I'm asking this question because I wasn't at the meeting on Monday, but can I ask why the supplies and other was low for CSA?
I believe there's prices in it.
Okay.
Prices.
Can you just run down the list of names of the clubs? What
I
are
don't have it memorized. But Women in Physics, Ballet Florida Code, the SCU, Chinese Student Association, and SCU on it.
Okay. Any questions on any of those specifically? Any more questions?
Sorry, one more. Can you just explain the rationale behind the woman in physics funding?
I don't remember off the top of my head why we gave it less. Usually the reasons are I don't know the name of other SAC members. But usually it's because there's just like they either ask for more than they're allowed to get percentage wise, or we felt that they could have done something cheaper.
That is the most you can give anyway for travel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Travel,
40%.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Any more questions? Okay, cool. Show of hands, who's ready to vote on these? Okay, show of hands of who would like to white ballot them. Okay, can I get a motion to white ballot?
Second.
Motion from Raul, second from Justin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion to vote.
Motion from Justin,
Second.
second from Abby. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Voice vote? Cool, let's do it. All in favor of approving SAC's recommendations for the five clubs
Yes.
we've looked at?
4.
4 clubs we've looked at, thank you. Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Say nay. Okay, cool. Carry on. Okay, splash presentation and discussion. Did you send that to me, Justin?
Good. I don't think the presentation is up, but let's do the confirmation first.
Okay. Elena, would you like to take the center so we can ask you a couple of questions? Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so kind of fast this week, but we found somebody interested in LGBTQ plus inclusion, Senator Large position. So this is Elena. She's a first year. Elena, could you give us a 30-second introduction of yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Elena Middlemass. I'm from Burlington, California. It's about 30 minutes away from here. Earlier in the year, I applied or ran for the first year senator and unfortunately did not get it, but I'm still very interested in being involved in ASG and contributing to the Santa Clara community in any way possible, and that's part of the reason why I'm here today. So, yeah.
Questions for Elena regarding LGBTQ plus inclusion?
Can I do 2?
Sure.
So how do you personally feel about like LGBT inclusion like on campus? Like, do you feel like there's a good presence and it's like accepted? And then also, what are your plans to like further the inclusion?
Yeah, so far I've noticed that there are definitely a lot of clubs that are focused on the LGBTQ community, and I think that if I were to get this position, I'd work with those clubs and help get them money to continue doing programs or bring them together, and overall just grow the community and make sure that everybody feels represented and build like this gap between those who are queer on campus and those who are the rest of the student population. I think that some things that I want to focus on as the head of this position is looking at what people in the LGBTQ plus community really feel like they're missing out on, and get polls for them, see what kind of events they would like to see planned, what kind of initiatives they'd like to see, and help them do that. I know that as of now, Santa Clara has about 30 unisex bathrooms, maybe doing something to make a policy where when new buildings are being made, they have to have more unisex bathrooms in there. Also, I know that transgender students, one of their biggest issues is getting their name changed within the institution, making sure that there's easier methods for them to do that. So things along those lines.
Other questions, Raul?
What knowledge do you have about issues that directly affect LGBTQ students?
Because I'm not a member of the LGBTQ community, I only have secondhand knowledge of what the people within that community actually face. And that's why I'd like to talk with them and continue to build relationships with them in order to help my understanding of what their struggles are day to day, because I only see it from a secondhand point of view, and yeah, just hoping to build those relationships and advocate for them.
I understand you corresponded with Raul about some of the projects that he took on in the position last
Yeah,
year, and you'd like to
so-
carry that torch.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to carry that torch. I know Raul said that he actually last year had one of the most one of the biggest events of the ASG year, and I think that that's really awesome. It shows how big the LGBTQ community really is on campus and how they do want to be heard. And I think that, you know, continuing his legacy would be really awesome. Working with him, working with the same clubs that he worked with, and continue building those relationships.
Good, yeah.
Since you've said that you're not part of the LGBTQ plus community, do you have some like apprehensions about what people in the community might feel that you're representing them?
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the biggest concerns. But coming from the Bay Area, it's a very, very inclusive, very liberal area, and I've just always been in an environment where it was just accepted. This is like how it's supposed to be, and I hope to bring that to Santa Clara, and I hope to make sure that they feel represented. I also think the fact that I am straight will allow me to bridge this gap between the LGBTQ community and the rest of Santa Clara. I know that a lot of people who are not a part of the community sometimes feel like they might not be able to go to events because oh, that's an LGBTQ event, and that's not what I represent myself as, and they might feel unwelcome. So trying to just make sure that there's like a more cohesive society within the SU campus, and just bringing the people who are a part of the LGBTQ community with the rest of the campus.
One more question, Melanie?
How do you currently serve as an ally to the LGBTQ plus community?
Good question. So right now I serve as an ally mostly on like a very basic level. I have a lot of friends, a lot of family that are a part of the LGBTQ community, and I see them and the struggles that they have, you know, confronted through their everyday life, and learning and growing from them allows me to kind of take away what they've had and you know, advocate for them and see what kind of things I can do to help their day-to-day life improve.
Wonderful. Okay, we're gonna cut it off there. Elena, can we have the ring, please?
Yes.
Thanks. Okay. Additional comments or questions about Elena?
Can I ask if anyone else applied for this position?
Nobody has. Yes. Amber.
Raul, you said you like touch base with her. Like, what's your?
Can we speak up so that Kat can get it for the
You
minutes?
said you like touch base with her, and then what's your like personal verdict on, I guess, like how do you think she'll like carry out the role and like continue your legacy, I guess?
Yeah, so I guess it puts me in a very like difficult position because I definitely think that she has potential to represent the community, and I really would like to see her in the position. I guess like she mentioned it herself, my biggest concern is that she's not a member within the community, and I think that definitely impacts students within the community, and like they won't feel like they can approach her. Personally, I coming into the position, there wasn't anyone before me the year before me, and so I thought it was difficult to kind of like paint the picture of what that position would look like. And honestly, I just like did everything that I could. Like I reached out to different groups, and I think that was something they expressed to like different clubs on campus, thought that it was easier to work with me being that I was actually someone within the community, and something that is really hits home for me. Like that's something that is kind of like an identity I carry every day, and I think it's difficult to navigate that if you don't have someone working with you that also sits in those shoes. So I guess I'm still struggling with the idea of like confirming her, because like I really want her in the position, but I also see that this would impact students a lot. And personally, it's difficult because we haven't hired anyone else or no one has really shown interest. But I'd prefer ideally someone within the community.
Abby?
I think it's really important that the person in this position represents the community authentically. And I think, like, beyond just like a moral argument for it, I think we'd get a lot of pushback from the community. I think people would see this as us putting someone in Senate who didn't win their election and just like as a way for her to be in Senate. I know like SCAP even recently tried to plan an LGBTQ inclusion event with Father O'Brien and it got canceled because our RC said that they didn't feel like they were like really brought into it and that the community had a voice within the event. And so I think I don't think it's the right thing to do, and I also think we'd get pushback for it.
So my understanding is that you interviewed her on your own. Okay. What were some things that you took from the interview that you had with her that made you think that, you know, she could be a good senator in that particular position?
Yeah, so first let me start by talking about like what I've done to try to find a senator at large for LGBTQ plus inclusion. I have visited the RRC when there's people in it, like a variety of people in it, and asked if they had any ideas, if any of them, they themselves were interested, or if they had any ideas of students who might be interested. They said not off the top of their head, and they directed me to Joanna Thompson, who is the director of the Office of Multicultural Learning. Joanna Thompson didn't have any ideas, so I followed up with her, and she hasn't given me anybody. So, yeah, there was actually one person who applied, and then when I saw their application on the response sheet, I emailed them. I told them to sign up for an interview slot, and nothing. So they ghosted. So of the two people who have shown any kind of interest, Elena has been the most interested. And to answer your question, whose question was it? Eduardo. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. To answer Eduardo's question, she emphasized her empathy and the fact that she felt like she could connect with a variety of different people and her willingness to build a relationship with the LGBTQ community on campus. She also talked about how she is looking to learn and how she would like to connect with Raul and other people interested in the position itself, just as a guide. So that seemed promising to me in the interview. Meg, you've had
Sorry, I just want to offer a comment. I've known Elena is probably one of the first people I've known since I've come to Santa Clara. And when she says that like she's empathetic, she's probably the most approachable person I've ever met. And I do really understand the concern about her not being a part of the community herself. But I think with like the guidance of Raul, she's a fast learner and she's extremely passionate and diligent in the work that she does. So I think that she's very capable of holding this position.
Yeah, Allie and then Cam.
Is it okay if Raul
Can
goes
I
next?
like directly answer that?
Please, yeah.
I think it's also important to remember that it's not my job to have to carry that emotional weight.
I was just gonna ask if
educate someone else on these issues.
Yeah.
Like, while I would love to work with her, it's not like in my job description to like pass that on. That's something that I volunteered to do, and I think that it's difficult. I'm getting emotional. Sorry. It's just like a lot of things that are going on in my head right now. I think it's just like something that we all need to be aware of. That like I would love to work with her on these things. And I'm going through my own stuff right now, and it's really difficult. But we need to remember that it's not our job as marginalized groups to have to educate the people.
Okay. Allie, did you have something?
Yeah. I was wondering whether like having a position filled may add would be beneficial in that like while she is just an ally, she can still be an ally, and I wonder like having a position for people to go to that is filled, like you were saying, like there was no one last year. I mean the year before last. So like maybe having that position filled would still offer benefit to the community, and that there is still someone that is willing to represent their voice and like very specifically. So I kind of see a benefit in that, even though it is not ideal. So I was wondering what you guys thought about that.
Great, Theo?
Personally, as a member of the LGBT community, I don't feel represented in a choice from somebody who doesn't identify as that. And I also would just like to see like kind of like maybe a wider search, because I have some friends on campus who identify as queer, and I feel like they would be interested in the position, and I just feel like it would be, I don't know, a better choice to do somebody who actually identifies as that position. And like Abby said, I think this is kind of also just like, kind of like, you know, what she said about like she lost her election, now she's just like, I don't know, like going for another seat. I just think it's important, since a lot of people from marginalized communities on campus don't feel included, that we choose a person who's working towards inclusion to be a part of that community.
Please send your friends my way.
Well,
Cam and then Eric.
Well, I think optically, I know obviously it looks better to have someone who represents the community, but ultimately the role is someone who's going to be a soundboard and an advocate for those people. And personally, I think there would be a larger benefit to the community if it's someone who is a harder worker and is the best qualified and will, you know, like maybe there is someone else out there who's more qualified, but someone who's in general going to be more helpful, because at the end of the day, they're still going to be hearing complaints and concerns from the constituents. I would rather take someone in her position if she is better suited for the job and she's going to work harder than someone who may be from the LGBT community but may not have the same qualifications as her.
Okay, Eric, Mika, then Ifani.
Just echoing everybody's opinions for a minute, I really liked what you said. She doesn't directly represent the community. However, playing devil's advocate, it has been almost the entire quarter. We have only had one real applicant, even though there has been due diligence in terms of looking for applicants, posting every week in the weekly email. Like, everybody here has known that this position has been open all quarter. Like, I understand that, like, you guys, the first years just got
to be
here.
honest, I didn't know it was open.
Okay, well, you gotta read your
I don't know
emails. You gotta read
everybody's
your
emails. I don't know
emails.
everyone's
We've been
position.
discussing this for weeks on end, and I think long term, like, yes, we should always shoot to have the target community represented directly in Senate, 100% of the time. But I think this is an exception because we literally have had nobody representing them for a whole third of the year. So I think this should be our priority right now, is filling the position. And if that means, like, she isn't living up to what she's supposed to be doing, then we can reevaluate that. Like, that's part of our bylaws, that if she's not, like, living up and following the, like, I don't know, the vision for the community, then we can reassess. But yeah.
Mika, then Ifani, then Juliana.
A few things I wanted to say is, one, if someone is a queer person of color, even in the Bay Area, it is not very welcoming environment. There are many homophobic people in my church in the Bay Area. Even in schools, they can say very nasty things. Even in the media, if you notice, they don't really represent, especially women or non-binary people. Another thing is something I heard very worrisome on campus is someone saying that they would kill themselves if they were gay. So I don't think the Bay Area is necessarily the most welcoming place of the LGBTQ community. I feel like people that I have known would actually like it. It's just a very different experience. It's not the same as being a straight person and being a cisgendered person. It is really important that we're represented properly, like we're choosing the right person to represent. And I understand that we're looking for the position. However, I know some people that were thinking of applying but either busy or they weren't comfortable with certain senators, and I feel like the way this quarter has gone on, they might be more comfortable to apply now.
Okay.
Very
Ifani, and then Juliana.
I just want to say that we put Raul in like a difficult spot and kind of like highlighting him and having to choose for the LGBT. I think that's like an unfair position to be in, regardless. And I feel like we shouldn't just be like, oh no, we haven't had anyone apply. Just, oh, she wants to be in it, push her through. I don't think that's like the right way to do it.
So let me speak to that really quick. Went to Raul because actually Raul and I have been talking throughout the whole quarter about him wanting to be involved in the hiring process because he was in the position last year. So not trying to put him on the spot. It was kind of a voluntary thing, right? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Let me just respond to that.
Yeah.
I agree. We've been in contact, but I guess to call me out on Senate on the spot to like have everyone ask me questions about the specific person was kind of off guard. Firstly, secondly, I think something that I wanted to point out, especially since it was brought up, I was in communication with her. when I emailed her this morning or yesterday, one of the things I asked was, how do you think your positionality and identities will impact how students see you or perceive you and approach you on campus? And I think her focus, even throughout the presentation, has been like, I'm an ally, I have friends, this and that. Not so much recognizing that her positionality and her identities as a white cisgender woman may impact the way students feel approaching her. And I think that's something we need to consider. And white cisgendered straight woman. So it's just like, I know calling me out was like needed so that I can like give my, I guess, opinion in this. But it's difficult because now I'm getting like a lot of nerves about it. Just like, I don't like having to like pick sides. I think she's great in like the position. I think that she definitely seems like a great ally. I just don't think that this is the position for her.
Okay, sorry to call you out. I have no intention to do that. Juliana?
Okay, first of all, I think 100% representation matters. So I do definitely see like both sides, because I think Eric brought up a really good point, because if we leave this kind of waiting and look for the right person, then they're not being represented in sense at all. And then I feel like because we do represent the student body, then it's like kind of all falls on us in terms of like we're leaving that group out and like without representation. So it's like, do we feel like we're also doing like not doing our job? Like, I know it's not our position to represent the like as in I'm junior senator, so it's like I'm not at large for that community, but like I would kind of feel bad in terms of like we keep the search going on, but it just goes back to like that. So it's like, is there something that we can do still as Senate to represent them? If that means we continue the search, would be like my what I would like have to say about it.
Okay, Zach, then Eddie, and then Vidya.
So I don't think we should confuse the idea that we have this position that's dedicated to LGBTQ students on campus and representation of LGBTQ students on campus. And the reason is because there are queer members of the Senate. I'm one of them. I'm gay. Big surprise. But merely the fact that I'm in this position and out is representation of the LGBTQ community. With that being said, my projects aren't focused on the LGBTQ community, yet I do still feel that I can represent them within the Senate. Having a position that's dedicated to projects in LGBTQ issues is a good thing. I'm sort of teeter-tottering on this issue as well. And that being said, I really think this is the best debate the Senate has had this year. This is like actually like getting into a good debate, just to like ease the tension a little bit. But I would advocate for the idea that there are LGBTQ students sitting on the Senate. We represent the community already, and we should be able to seek out a student who is also LGBTQ in order to make this position as functional as possible.
Okay. Emmy, and then Eddie. Oh, sorry, I said Vidya. Go ahead, Vidya.
Okay, well, sorry, just to like, I guess, shift a bit. Is this a position required in the bylaws?
It
or-
is.
I thought, wasn't there something that like switches every other year?
No, it is required in the bylaws, but if you search for a whole quarter and you don't find anybody, you can institute a different at-large position.
So can't we do that? Because like obviously she's very interested, and maybe she can find something that she's passionate about.
Yeah.
Rather, I don't know how people feel about that, but I think it was just an option. And just
If the Senate chooses, I can continue the search for an LGBTQ senator into next quarter. I was trying to I was excited to find somebody who was actually interested. And she seemed, as Meg said, empathetic. She seemed to be an ally. She seemed to be a good representative. And I interviewed her and brought her here, understanding Zach's point. So, yeah, that's where I was with it. But I can continue the search. Sorry, Eddie. Yeah.
To Eric's point, you said earlier that it's been a quarter since when we don't have a LGBTQ plus senator. I think that is objectively true. It's not up for debate. At the same time, I think we have to consider the fact that Sorry, I lost my train of thought. We shouldn't speculate if the senator is going to work, because it is true that we want to have someone representing the position, but I do see it conversely in the fact that if we have someone who's in the position and they're not doing their job, we're only making things worse by having someone who's supposed to represent this community is not doing so, and we're having to possibly see the possibility of shifting senators. I think that's something that we should definitely consider if we do want to take the time and energy to speculate on someone who realistically does not have a lot of experience within the LGBTQ plus community. And I think that's something that we can all come to general agreement with. So I think that's my point. I don't think we should speculate too much. I think we should be more objective about whether or not this person has the necessary experience to be able to fully capacitate this position, as it should be.
Allie and then Abby.
I wonder whether, like, it sounds like from a lot of the senators that they know people and they feel that there are people that they might want to, like, apply. Is it a possibility as far as, like, what we can do as a result of this, like, kind of like this disagreement amongst us? Whether it's something we can, like, push it back to the last Senate of the quarter, and then consider confirming her or someone else then after there's, like, 2 weeks to apply again. I know that it's unlikely that people will come forward just because that's how it's been so far, and we have done a lot of due diligence as far as, like, getting word out there, but apparently maybe we do need more.
Okay, so let me put forward a suggestion. It sounds like a good idea. Sorry, Abby, would you like to speak?
That's good.
Suggestion, we're getting late here. Take Allie's suggestion and keep Elena on the hook as a candidate, but also try to field a few more interviews and applications over the next couple weeks, actually really after Thanksgiving break, to see if we can find more candidates. Yeah, Zach.
So can I make a motion?
Yes.
I move to postpone this appointment until the next meeting.
I object.
I have a question.
You said I object. Yeah. Okay, you said you have a question. What's your question?
So if we postpone it, we still get to vote. Like we could still vote no on it.
Yeah.
Tonight or later?
When we re-vote.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Can I say something?
Please.
Okay. So actually now 3 points since we're so I think about the bylaw thing, it's actually for a full year. So I was in the position last year, and then the position is permanent, meaning it has to be a full year. Someone doesn't need to be in the position the full year, and then the following year someone would need to fulfill that position. So just keep that in mind. It's not like we need to get rid of that position yet. And then secondly, I think something that I thought about when like thinking about applying for this position again or running for sophomore senator was that it is emotionally draining, and I think that as someone who actually identifies within the community, I had a lot of trouble just like with the position. Not like I didn't enjoy it, obviously I did, but I did a lot of things that I thought were very helpful to the community, attend a lot of events, and I think people came up to me with a lot of issues. And for someone that doesn't identify within the community, I honestly don't think they could handle that. And then the third thing is that by postponing this to a vote and trying to figure out who we can find in 2 weeks, we got to consider there's like a day left in the week. People are going on Thanksgiving break, and it's kind of like saying most of you brought up, we're just kind of keeping her in the hook to see if we can fulfill the position. I don't think we should do that. I think we should consider leaving it for the rest of the year and seeing who actually fits the position, who qualifies and has that experience for the LGBTQ community, so we have the best representation possible.
Okay. I just want to remind you all that we have a delicious Thanksgiving dinner waiting for us. So we can continue. All right, so ready for that. We can continue. We'll do a couple more comments. Okay. Show of hands of who would like to postpone until week 10 Senate. Okay. Show of hands of who would like to vote tonight. Okay. That's pretty close. And if we would vote tonight, if she did not, if she was not confirmed, then I would keep, obviously I'd keep the at-large position open into the winter and continue the search. Hopefully, you guys can send people my way. It sounds like you know people. Okay? So, let's do, can I get a motion to vote? Hold on, here's the plan here. I'm gonna take a motion to vote. And when I say all in favor, say aye or nay.
Wait,
right?
To vote
is this
or
on
to
the
vote?
tournament?
To vote on Elena.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
the
So if you're not in favor of voting, then you should say nay.
oh
Yes?
Wait,
Okay.
so this is like deciding whether we are gonna vote on it
Yes.
tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Postponement.
No, this is the vote on Elena.
Oh.
This is the
Wait.
vote on her?
No,
That's
That's what I said.
It's if there is going to be a vote tonight. That's what it is.
Okay. Yes.
No.
No.
You're not on the same page.
All right.
Clarify.
Stop.
This is not going to be a voice vote, I'm assuming.
Sorry?
This is not going to be a voice vote.
This will not be a voice vote.
That's what I thought.
If it's a
Okay.
vote, okay, so the question I'm asking now is for a motion to vote. In which case, if I get that motion, I will say, all in favor to vote, aye, and then all in favor to vote, or all opposed to vote, nay. Okay? That will lead into a roll call vote, or not, depending on who wins the voice vote about whether to vote on Elena. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just you didn't make clear.
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
the postponement,
yes.
like how that went.
Zach, do you have something?
I'm just saying, like, it would be better for a member to make a motion. So we don't need to necessarily make a motion to vote. I'd still make the motion to postpone and consider that before we make a motion to vote.
Well, if you don't want to vote tonight, I'm going to assume that your intention is to postpone.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
So
yeah.
you can vote on either side of the binary, and it doesn't matter because we're making a dichotomy here. The Senate is choosing one side of it: postpone or vote or not vote. Yes. Okay.
Well.
So that's the vote?
No. All right. Can I get a motion to vote?
Motion to vote.
Second.
Motion from Abby, second from Cam. All in favor of voting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed to voting, say nay.
Nay.
Okay. We are going to do a roll call of whether we want to vote or not. Okay? And what we're looking for here is 2/3. Okay? Cool. Can I get a roll call of whether we are going to vote on Elena tonight?
Christina.
No.
Cole.
No.
Theo.
No.
This is just about whether we want to vote tonight. So the thing I
Yes.
just did.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we clarify? Yes.
Wait, can we
Said-
try that again?
We can start over.
Yeah.
This is just about whether you want to vote tonight. All right? Has nothing to do with what you want to vote. Just whether you want to vote. Cool.
Okay. Christina.
I'll abstain.
She wasn't really here.
No, she just.
Cole.
She came in late.
Oh, that's right.
Theo.
Yes.
Ariel.
Yes.
Meg.
Yes.
Abby.
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
Carmen.
Yes.
Raul.
Yes.
Luke.
No.
And Kyle.
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Zachary.
No.
Juliana. No. Cam.
Yes.
Eric.
No.
Vidya.
Yes.
Allie.
No.
Emmy.
Yes.
Ifani.
No.
Mika.
Yes.
Christian.
Yes.
Melanie.
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking for 2/3. We're gonna count up the votes now.
Mika, I didn't realize you'd come. That's why. I didn't realize you'd come in late. Sorry about that.
It is, but
Abstain if you weren't. Higher discussion.
Yep, okay, we have it. We're gonna vote tonight. It's 72%. The people said yes. Okay, 16 out of 22. For those of you who are curious. We're gonna do a roll call vote, okay, in this vote. This will not be a voice vote. So, can I get a motion to vote?
Motion to vote.
Second.
Oh wait, we already did that.
We already
Never
did
mind.
that.
Roll call. Let's do a roll call.
Cole.
This is, hold on, this is a vote about whether you want Elena Middlemass to fill the position of LGBTQ plus inclusion Senator at Large.
Theo.
No.
Ariel.
No.
Meg.
Yes.
Abby.
No.
Justin.
No.
Carmen.
No.
Raul.
No.
Luke.
No.
Kyle.
No.
Amber.
No.
Zachary.
No.
Juliana.
No.
Cam.
Yes.
Eric.
No.
Vidya.
No.
Allie.
No.
Emmy.
No.
Ifani.
No.
Mika.
No.
Christian.
No.
Melanie.
No.
Okay. Can you get the splash presentation going?
No.
Yes.
Wait,
Sorry.
RSOs.
What?
RSOs plus 1,000.
Yeah, because they've been waiting for a while.
That's fair.
Can we
Okay. Get those going. Can you operate that? I'm gonna go talk to Lynn. You already did?
It's nothing personal. I'm not comfortable.
Hi, Christina. Little great grandmother just said to my sweet
It's not
It was a lot, right? Well done, everybody. We have pie later, so.
Well,
David.
Should we invite her back into?
All right, any global medical brigades go first here? Just go to the front of the room. So you'll have 3 minutes to present for all our SOs that are presenting. I'll put up my finger when you have 1 minute remaining, and I'll wave when your time is up.
I don't know.
Hi, we're with Global Medical Brigades. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Danielle.
So Global Brigades is like a higher organization, works on, utilizes a holistic model, intervention model, to target and empower communities. And what we do specifically is a medical model. And we are going to Ghana this year in Accra, and we are going during spring break, and we are taking 26 SU students who are all potential, they're hopeful to pursue careers in the medical field, as well as one SU staff chaperone, TBD. And so the purpose of our trips are to provide accessible healthcare to these rural, under-resourced communities by fundraising supplies and setting up a clinic, and we'll be working on triage and working with physicians and shadowing optometrists and pharmacologists, which is really awesome experience learning about healthcare system in another country. As well as providing preventative public health education models, as well as hygiene packs to help them sustain this effort. Another very important part of this is a cultural immersion and exchange, as well as like actually applying the Jesuit values that our education has taught us here. And this is why like we think that Global Brigades is a super important program to invest in.
So we initially started with $47 in our OSO balance, so we knew we had a lot of fundraising to get going. Here you can see, excuse me, the projected individual cost is going to be around $2,600. This is in part due to an increase in flights. Last year they were $900 and now they are $535 more, so quite a big increase. We have started fundraising a lot and putting a lot of our time and efforts into that to make up for that increase. And we've had about 4 main events this quarter. We've generated around 3,000, but that's nearly not enough to make up for that difference. Each individual benefits about $100. So here's the budget breakdown. We are requesting $7,000. The travel expenses break down into $1,600 for a charter bus to and from SFO, $130 for a Ghana travel visa, and then also funding for a chaperone, and then flights, of course. Here we have the supplies, which are going to be around $3,500. We're hoping to get those donated, but it is a very large sum. And then food and lodging is included in that GMB greater fee that the individual members pay. But we are just hoping that this funding would make up for that large increase in flights so that we can focus our energy onto generating funds for the supplies to be used in the clinics there. But yeah, we just thank you for listening to us today. We hope you would take the time to just think about our organization and how we will benefit the community and Ghana too as well.
Thank you very much. All questions will be forwarded to you through Kyle.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Nesby's next.
Nesby?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, my name is Melanda, and this year I'm serving as the president of NESB. I was in front of you all a couple of weeks ago presenting about our regional conference.
My name is Darren, and I'm currently acting as the finance chair.
Today we'll be talking to you about our national conference.
So our NESB mission is to increase the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, and excuse me, and positively impact the community.
So this year, our national conference will be hosted in San Antonio, Texas. It's during spring break, so it's from March 25th to March 29th. The reason that we want to go to national conference, we already prepared for this through regional conference. So we're very excited to bring more members. This year we want to bring 20 members to national conference, and during regional conference we were able to bring a total of 15 members. And last year for our national conference we were able to bring 17 members. So this is the most members that we will be bringing to a conference. Even though last time we projected to bring 20 members, we also scaled it down based on our funds.
So, overall, one of the big reasons that we would like to attend conference this year is because it is a great source of personal and professional development for our members. At conference, we are able to participate in a lot of different, both career building, resume building, and other activities, and also it's a place for us to get to know other people from across the country and other NSBE chapters. And so, some of the activities that we will be participating in are career fairs, and this overall helps us get better at networking, and it is just a great opportunity for all of our students. And I personally have not gone, but at our fall regional conference, one of the best experiences I had there was at a workshop. And so what Santa Clara would gain from this is that it exposes our chapter to other chapters, and it allows us to have more opportunities like being on the regional board.
So today we're asking ASG for a total of $3,600. For each student, it's going to cost roughly about $400 per ticket. So that's a total of $8,000 if we're trying to take 20 students. And we're requesting only $3,200 of that. And then the rest of that will be made up by our RSO funds and through our fundraising. Also, we're additionally asking for $500 for any emergency funds. $200 for emergency funds, and we have $500 allocated towards our transportation to get to and from the airport, both here and also when we get to San Antonio, Texas, but we're only asking ASG for $200 of those dollars. So for a grand total of $3,600. And you can see, you might see that it's off in our funding. It says $1,000 for the flights, but it's because we do expect to do 1,000. Yes.
Thank you very much. Time is up. We'll forward all questions to you through Kyle, okay? Really appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kyle, were there any more? Okay, Justin, do you want to do this, or do you
Yes, I do want to do this.
Okay. You have 10 minutes.
So this will take 10 minutes. I know that it's been a longer Senate than expected, but please, just.
That's what I gave you.
Me and Carlise have been working on this for a very, very, very long time. Carlise is the Scholastic Chair. Let me know if this is the right, her position is basically to reach out to high school students from around the area and just to get them to know about Santa Clara University. And basically, I want to start something called Santa Clara Splash here. Does anyone know what Splash is? Splash has heard of Stanford Splash or any other school's Splash?
Yes.
Just think about it. Good, bad, no? I'm glad. Okay. But basically, we want to start me and Carlise are trying to start our very own Splash here. For those of you who don't know what Splash is a day-long event where motivated college students teach motivated high school students crash courses on different subjects, from neuroscience to intro to programming, entrepreneurship. As long as there's a college student who's interested in teaching that subject and it's appropriate, they're allowed to teach it. And there are splashes like this, all over. It actually started in MIT, but they have over dozens of splashes at different campuses. And as you can see, Stanford, Columbia, Harvard, MIT, they have hella clout, so we're trying to get on their level. And yeah, next. So basically, what is this? This hopefully is going to happen spring quarter, third week, April 18th, on a Saturday. And the reason I'm here is really to see if anyone else in ASG is interested in helping out with organizing Splash. We're trying to reach out to different campus departments, for example, LEAD, SCAP, MCC, and we're meeting with them now, and we hope to finalize people who are interested in helping to organize this event by the end of the quarter. And those are kind of the positions that we need. And the two biggest things that we need help with, other than getting admin, is recruiting teachers and getting high school students to come here. And other than that, there's also other logistical things that we need help with, like booking rooms and just making sure all the all the teachers are trained and stuff. But actually no, go back. I didn't.
Go for it.
But so again, like because Splash, it's something basically. The point of Splash is for college students to be teaching high school students like different subjects. But in order for that to happen, like we need to recruit as many teachers as possible. And one of our ways of doing that is basically reaching out to different academic clubs. And I know a lot of you guys are from around the Bay Area. So if you guys like are from around here, like please like let me know and just send like your information to Carlise, and then we'll reach out to your respective high schools. But the biggest issue we have is kind of with the budget, because it kind of costs a lot of money to do Splash, and in terms of expenses, it's about like $3,000 for like this is assuming we invite 1,000 students to our first like inaugural Splash, which honestly is like a very 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 high number, but I think we can do it. But those are basically the expenses. But the thing about Splash is that it's not a free event. I think people have drawn comparisons to. It used to be called Raza Day. I don't know how to say it. Yes. Basically,
there you go.
that's when they invite a bunch of schools, students onto campus, but it's free. However, Splash won't be free. It's actually $20 per student, which to some of you guys might sound like a lot of money, but Stanford actually charges $40 per student for Splash. So in comparison, it's also not that bad. And basically, hopefully, like we'd be making a profit. And you guys might be wondering, like, why is ASG involved in this? Like, what's the point? Like, can't this like be its own separate club? And the reason behind that is.
Raíces.
No.
Turn the slide.
Next slide.
Oh my god.
I thought you were talking about that. So one of the things that we've been talking about within SAC is no one in SAC basically like runs an RSO, so it's like kind of hard for us to understand like where they're coming from when it comes to like planning events or requesting for funding and booking for rooms and stuff. So hopefully like through establishing Splash, like we can understand like some of their pain points and be able to like communicate that with SAC to kind of fix it. And the second one is Splash is going to be a huge cross-functional event and will require partnerships with many organizations and departments that ASG doesn't really interact with on a regular basis. I know David's your vision for ORC or Outreach Committee, rest in peace.
That's over.
I know, but the vision for that was to basically communicate with different departments on campus and to have those avenues like set in stone. So when we want to communicate with them and we wanted things from them in the future, it would already have been established, and hopefully we can do that via Splash. And the last thing is, and honestly, I didn't really think about this until like really recently, but we hope that Splash will be self-sufficient and profitable, and we want profits to be used to purchase supplies for future events. So on Valley Puerto Rico, we weren't able to fully fund them, right? So one of the ideas that I potentially have would be to use profits from that, from Splash, to partner with these clubs, and basically it's like, hey, like if you promise to teach a couple of classes at our Splash, we will buy like your costume for you. If you're CSA and you want line dance costume, we will buy that for you, contingent on you like using it and teaching classes with it during Splash, and then it's basically yours for the rest of the quarter. And the reason I got the idea from that is Stanford Splash has a lot of money, and they have Stanford Splash is so rich. Stanford Splash is so rich. They get $40,000 from the student government. Just think about that. You get $40,000. That's crazy. But they have like 100 Chromebooks that the club owns. And they use 2 times a year, only for Splash. That's how rich they are. A club can have 100 Chromebooks just for a 2-day event. I think it's an insane like waste of resources, and like I don't want to do that with Splash, which is why like if we partner with different organizations, like we can benefit like the different RSOs who can't get all the funding that they want from ASG. And yeah. So now like kind of like the issues that we kind of have is I've talked to Ted about this like a lot. Is kind of where like Splash would be housed. Would it be kind of like a program? Would it be like SCAP has 20 different programs, I think? Would Splash kind of be a program under ASG? Would it be like its own RSO, and then like with the MCC and the MCC clubs where like ASG would be an umbrella organization, and if ASG was a program, like would there be like 16 new ASG positions? Like I don't really think that Splash is entirely ASG. I don't really know. So I just like had questions like if you guys like have any like ideas for that. I really just like critique with this critique like on the idea of Splash. And yeah.
We have 3 more minutes on the agenda for this, so we'll take as many questions as we can. Raul?
Oh, does it have to be a question?
Comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I like the idea of Splash. Like it seems really good, but I think my concern is where you said it's gonna be profitable. I don't see really. Well, I guess one, I think it kind of goes against the mission of what you're trying to do to help teach high school students. So it shouldn't be something profitable in my opinion. But also, if it was something profitable, I don't see where you're making profit if you're assuming that half of the students would pay. And it seems like there's more expenses than revenue being generated. And where would this all fall under? It just seems like it's a very good idea in theory, but I don't think it works out without having really anything planned out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I like really rushed through the expenses thing, and I probably shouldn't have done that. But so for the $20, that's like there will be financial aid, and anyone who needs financial aid for any reason at all, they just can ask for it. No questions asked. We don't ask them for anything. So if you can pay for it, then like you're gonna pay for it. But if there's any doubt in your mind, like oh maybe I just forgot $20, I don't have any money on me, like they don't have to pay for the event. And so that was kind of the whole thing with the aid thing. And the second thing is there are expenses like related to Splash, and the biggest thing is food, and then the teacher supplies, and then apparel for like the volunteers and the teachers. But just like how the calculations would work out, if it's $20 per person, and assuming 50% of them pay, like it would work out. And it does work out for like many other colleges.
That's $2,000, but you have $7,000 listed in expenses. So I'm assuming you're expecting funding from ASG and other.
No, because if
So
a
we
thousand.
the shorter your answers, the more questions and critiques you can take.
Okay,
So,
I agree.
I was giving you a point to work on. Allie?
I was just wondering. Oh no. I just don't remember. I'll get back to you, Jessica.
Okay. Melanie?
You said this is a 2-day event?
This is a 1-day event.
1-day
This is a 1-day event.
Allie?
How are you gonna make it worth it for the students that come to Santa Clara for these programs? Like, I was just wondering, like, what will the value and the experience be for the student that comes?
So personally, the reason I wanted to start this is because I went to Columbia Splash back in New York City like a long time ago, and although it didn't, I'm not gonna claim to say that Splash like changed my life. Like it made me want to be like a business major. It like taught me what I didn't want to do. Like it's really just like number one, like the class I took, I thought I'd like it, but like I didn't really end up enjoying it, and it kind of gave me a first-hand experience of what college was gonna be like. You guys know about Splash. I don't know if you guys have attended Splash. I don't know if you guys liked it, but if you guys could like, I don't know, share your experience. But
yeah. I did like some UCLA program kind of like this, like every other Saturday. I just know like just being on a college campus as a high schooler is like such a cool and like fruitful experience. I support what you're doing and will help out.
Carmen?
So I know you mentioned Raices, and Raices is generally like targeted for like low-income first-gen students. What like crowd are you trying to reach? Is it open to
so
all?
everyone from around Santa Clara University. And I'm actually like reaching out to Javier because I really want to talk to him to like ask about how he reached out because like I don't want to like make it so only people who can pay for this can come. Like, I want to like first generation students, minorities, everyone.
So we're out of time. Show of hands, who wants to keep talking about this? Okay, we're gonna cut it off there. You can reach out
Can
to
I say one thing? I want to say.
Yeah.
So like if you guys like are interested in this, like please hit me up. Like me and Carlise like are gonna need a lot of help like in like running this. So like just let me know, text me.
Okay. Yeah, Christina.
Can I make a very quick comment? Really
Sure.
fast? I went to Stanford Splash, and it was seriously. I went my junior year, and I thought it was like a really interesting experience. They had a lot of students. I'd say like maybe 500 or so. But it was a really enriching environment. Like the students were engaged. I really support it.
Great. Those of you who are interested in helping Justin with this huge project, it will take a lot of help. Definitely hit him up. So a few people in this room, including some from exec, have reached out to me about specific announcements that they would like to make. Raul, I know you have a big one. So do you want to take the floor? Or do you want me to say?
I can save mine till the end.
Until the end, okay. Cool. Who else has reached out to me about?
Nick did.
I think you got a printer.
All right, next go. That's it. Raul, you have the floor.
Okay. Well, okay. This is yeah.
It's Hyundai Challenge related,
It's
so very
Hyundai
important.
Challenge related, and like so I've been in like contact with Vidya and Cole and Eric and like a couple of other people with like administrators in different departments, and so I don't know how like I caught up you guys are, but we actually fell behind. I think we're like almost 2,000 behind. And I recently received funding from different departments. So if anyone, literally anyone, if all you have is like one like assignment, like please come out tonight. We want to hit all the dorms and want to go out to all the dorms to like help increase our scans for at least an hour. Like it may not do much, but it goes a long way when I have more people. Like I've been going, last night Saho and I hit Swig. We got in the lead by 40. We were behind 500. If we could get almost everyone in this room to come out, it makes a huge difference. I also have funding, so I need different people to help me put up posters all across campus because we need these by tomorrow up. I also need help picking up prizes. We have leftover t-shirts and Locatelli that we need to pass out. And we also have goodies, so like cookies and stuff. And we're also doing like some sort of a raffle scavenger hunt. So if you guys want to help me with that, please see me after this because we are trying to like basically have increase our scans by like tenfold. So if you find me, or I don't know who I'm gonna assign, whoever's interested in it, like to hide around campus, and if they find you twice, they have to come back to like scan again. They get automatically entered into a raffle, and we're gonna go get gift cards or something right after Senate, after we eat our food, because that's waiting too. So I don't want to take too long. But please, like I need at least like 20 of you to help out tonight. I'm not even kidding. If all you have is, if you have like obviously like 2 midterms tomorrow, like I don't expect you, but if you really can, please come out. Like save the party until later. I don't care. Just come out for at least an hour to 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul. Super important video.
Like yeah, so we have like a bunch of food, like whatever you want, we can pass out to dorms. We also need help in the villas, even off campus.
Yeah.
If you're in Greek life, please for
Yeah.
like athletics, campus rec, any big organizations that would really help. And if the school wins, like we're promised some like huge party. So like if you skip the party tonight, we can there'll be another party to go to. If we win.
We're gonna.
So,
Thank you. We can talk more about this while we're eating. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
Motion from Kyle, second from Cam. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Stage spaces. Can I get a roll call really quick?
Christina. Cole.
Here.
Tia.
Here.
Ariel. Present. Meg. Here. Abby. Here. Justin.
Present.
Carmen. Here. Raul.
Present.
Liv. Kyle. Here. Amber. Here. Zachary. Here. Juliana. Here. Cam.
Here.
Eric.
Yes, here.
Vidya. Here. Allie. Here. Emmy. Emmy. Here. Ifani.
Here.
Ika. Here. Christian.
Here.
Melanie.
All right. Let's eat. Hey, thank you all very much. I know I'm thankful for Senate. I'm thankful for each of you and the work that you do. Hold on. And I'm also thankful for the discussion we had tonight. I thought it was good. I thought it was productive. I think it was heated in a good way. So thank you all for that. Have some fun.
Hey, I'm thankful for all you beautiful people for being here. So thank you too, Sahel.
If you haven't scanned, please scan. Also, I need people in the villas. I need people off campus. So if you're giving me your placements, let me know where you're going.
The answer is we'll prioritize the schedules of the
By the way, that's 5 pounds of white meat. The dark meat?
I've sitting on my desk for the longest time.
Yo, how was that? There was a 5 presented.
Is it holidays?
Have to look at it because we'll have to look at it. I will.
I've cut every single 8:38 like it has.
You literally have been.
Actually, no, I went to ASG.
Yeah, 30 minutes late. I know, that's what I
I'll reach out to them.
That's the way we frame it.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That was the rationale back then, but I just thought back and check. So I have to be fresh a bit. Enter on the president, or I don't. Oh my God! I forgot
No more small things. We're out. We're keeping that trend.
I can actually bring it up.
The length of the meeting takes forever. I don't want to remember anything.
Oh yeah.
You know when you need
You want me to make it harder on yours?